Tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. for Nightcap Knowledge. Put the children to bed, get your adult beverage, and get ready. Nightcap Knowledge is rated Black and Uncensored and hosted by longtime community organizer and entertainment professionals Mr. Mac and DJ George Chuck. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. Nightcap Knowledge on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. Tune in and share.
DJ George Chuck.
Hey yo, start the motherfucker off track.
Nightcap Knowledge, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central.
One time, everybody out there in WW land, I hope you got you some water in your cup, got you some whiskey in your cup, or whatever it is, wine, water, whiskey, something like that. It is Nightcap Knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Another Tuesday has made it here. Episode 49. Golly, we coming up. That means like, isn't there like 52 weeks in the year? It's Nightcap Knowledge, y'all. Let's go! Shout out to all our people live over there at
Black with No Chaser.
You know where we at. Live on Black with No Chaser. We're live on YouTube. Live on Twitch. All our nightcappers out there, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We got DJ Young Venom of Offbeat talking about Free Comic Book Day, back to school, and more. We got Coach O in the building. Coach Obasi is in the building. Y'all, we got another action-packed episode of Nightcap Knowledge. See where Mr. Mac is. Want y'all to check out I Kissed Clinical Medicine Goodbye. Our guest from last week, Terilyn Cannon Knight, MD. We're going to be giving out some books. We're going to make sure we get a book over to Tougaloo College as well. Let's get it. Miggity Mac, what's happening? Let me get y'all muted.
George Chuck.
Talk to me, man.
Go DJ. That's my DJ. There it is. One time for your mind.
You know we can't play that music for real. You know?
Oh, well, let me stop singing it.
I can like hum it.
Yeah.
Shit, we might get flagged for that. I don't know.
Yeah, just stop. Pause. Just stop. Hey man, tell everybody they can get this good, nice T-shirt right here.
Yeah, buddy.
Forward. All gas, no brakes, baby.
If you don't know what it looks like that, moving Mississippi forward, all gas, no brake. All the funds go to MississippiMove.org to support the work that we're doing to move and continue moving Mississippi forward. And of course, man, we with that 93 octane, we need that good gas that ain't gonna burn real fast. We want that gas gonna burn slow and efficient. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a journey ahead of us.
If we got that big V8. And we can't put that cheap shit with the water in it. We can't
put
that in there. No, we can't have the good stuff.
Now we must have the good stuff. So y'all make sure y'all go to MississippiMove.org. Talk to me. What you got?
Speaking of putting good stuff in your engine, hey, put some good stuff in your engine right here.
Yeah, man.
Put some good stuff in your engine.
Yeah, man. Water, whiskey,
good stuff in there.
And wine.
Aqua.
Refreshing, absolutely outstanding. Shout out to Aspire Pure Water and our homie Eric Brunjich. Appreciate you, brother. Got to keep the hydration station in flow, man. So we got all of that. So Matt, what's up, man? What you been doing?
Man, we trying to make things happen. Moving and shaking, been pretty busy. We got to remind everybody this show is rated Black and Uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. We definitely telling you about Nightcap Knowledge. Get you a drink. If you don't want to hear it uncut, then this is not the show for you. But while we giving the shout outs, check out my hat. Give a shout out to our buddy, Mr. Larry the Legend Leggett.
Oh yeah, man. I got me a Jack Daniels. Yeah. Got me an Apple hat, man.
Yeah, man. Got the Apple hat to go with the green T-shirt, man. Coordinate. You got to coordinate like Pop said. You got to coordinate. Coordinate. Yes.
That's a legend right there.
Man, that shit. And And they say he ate chicken like that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Man, well, this show is connected to the weekend that we just had. Big shout out to Durant High, Durant Elementary. We know the news that came out earlier in the week with the takeover MDE for Holmes County School. But this weekend, the new principal at Durant Elementary, Miss Quinn, with folks from across the county. The mayor was out there, Mayor Haynes. We seen, kind of lift the spirits of the students and the community. We had food. Tamale Heaven was there. Sister came out there and showed out. They was like, people like, they want real tamales. They had seen real, and she was trying to get her truck. She was trying to get her truck ready so that she could show up in the truck and give them the real feel. But they were like, those real tamales, and they was tearing the tamales up. She made extra tamales and she left with nothing. I'm sure they ate everything. Downtown Sam Brown held it down. Oh man, he held it down, man. You got to, we always head down Holmes County bound. So but the folks in part of the story I'm gonna share when Venom come on, because it's related to him and why he's one of the reasons is he's on the show for tonight. Another thing is we're talking about things that have been happening to people and we're dealing with a lot, with the pandemic, the numbers rising, but also the trauma, the emotional and mental well-being are severely at stake for a lot of people while they're dealing with not only this pandemic, but we still are dealing with a systematic oppression, right? We're still dealing with a lot of other personal stuff that's going on in life. So we got Coach Abasi. He's going to be on to talk about that. And we're going to try to connect the dots. And we're going to talk about some real shit that's going on in our lives.
Well, hey, we definitely got to talk about the real stuff. And one of the real things that's happening very, very soon is the 6th annual Mississippi Black Business Expo. It is the People's Marketplace, Saturday, August 21st, right there at the Jackson Convention Complex, downtown Jackson. Sabir has already done a video, so you can check out some of the absolutely outstanding businesses that are and registered and will be in the place for the Mississippi Black Business Expo. Check out all the details at msblackpages.com. Now, look, man, we're going to bring up old Venom first, right?
Oh, Larry.
Oh, Larry's in the comments?
Yeah.
Oh, man, look Larry's up there. Yeah, man, what's up to Larry, man? Well, look, let's go ahead and get Mr. Venom, Mr. Phillip.
You gotta bring him in right, man. DJ Young.
Yeah, look, I gotta steal some of Venom's drops. We're gonna have to because he's a regular. We need to get his drops and have him on the button pad over here. I
mean, we need to get the little character in Spider-Man Venom to have that Venom pop up. Just.
I can actually do that. I'm gonna try to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and everybody that is here with us right now, y'all got to give it up for DJ Young Venom. Phillip is in the building. What's happening, man?
What's up?
Man, he's the owner, operator of the world famous Offbeat comic book and record store.
Yeah.
Not really world famous yet, but
Oh man, it is world famous. It is world famous. You got to claim it. We're gonna say it. I don't know another black man in the state of Mississippi that owned a damn record store and comic book store. You know one?
No.
I know one.
You world famous.
He's right
now. The world is looking at you right now. The world is looking at you.
The world is yours.
Hey man, hey man, how's everything been going, man? I think the last time we talked, you had Free Record Day coming up. I think the last time you was on the show,
it wasn't Free Record Day. It was
Let's get that right.
Okay,
it was Record Store Day, so it's a Record Store Day was a celebration for small independent record stores. Now, Free Comic Book Day is similar, but is actual free comic books, and most comic book stores, independent comic book stores, will buy these at a very discounted rate, these free comic books that come out for that specific day. And we'll give them away, or some stores, you can buy a certain amount, but I just give mine away because I always have a bunch left over. And I mean, we'll be doing sales. We're doing like 40% off trade paperbacks and 50% off hardcovers. So we'll
Okay.
be doing the sale all Saturday from 12 to 7, and the free comic books will be there while they last. And it'll only be like you can get like one of each comic per. So you can get like every comic book, but we're not allowing people to get doubles just so it'll be enough for everybody. And what we have left over, people could come back the next day if they want to get doubles on Sunday or whatnot. But yeah.
That's
So
dope.
could you share like what comic books will be what you will have or what so characters or
Um, I have like I want to say 4 or 5 boxes. I haven't even opened yet.
okay.
I do know. I mean, I can go to the website real quick because there's a free comic book day website, and
Oh,
kind
okay.
of list out like I can tell you what some of the comics are, but it's normally a lot. Let's see. I know I got Assassin's Creed, Archie. There's some Star Wars, Avengers.
Hmm.
There's some manga, Demon Slayer. Um, there's a comic on Who Sparked the Montgomery Bus Boycott about Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep, I got that comic free. Let's see, Legend of Korra. Um, it's really like you can go and see some of the lists, like Spider-Man and Venom. I'm trying to see Sonic the Hedgehog. I should have Street Fighter for the adults. I got The Boys off the Netflix series. So
Oh wow.
those will be at the counter.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and
I
it's a
gotta
it's
pull
a
it up.
bunch. It's a good varied selection. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not gonna be like just like really like exclusive, but it's like previews of stuff that you can like for people to get into the comics and get into like
Yeah.
getting into like what's out there and like oh I was interested in this comic but I didn't want to buy like the whole thing or spend the $4 or $5 for a single issue. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you just get you should, dip your toe in and like okay this is cool.
Mhm.
And then we had to sell on everything in the store so you can like really like oh while you're in there you can like flip through the pages be like oh, okay cool I want to grab this and stuff like that. And then we're gonna like really push people to like subscribe because we're doing like the subscription pool. So
Mm-hmm.
we still have issues of static number one, we got static number two in. We got hardware, which is the newest milestone book, and milestone is like all black created, black led comics, and it's under the DC imprint. So we're getting all of those books. So if people want to subscribe to those, so they don't have to miss an issue, they can. I'll set up a box behind the counter side so they can just come um, month to month or every 2 months. We recommend people to come so it won't pile up so much and pick up their comics if they want to collect them or get them week by week instead of waiting for like I think the trade paperbacks, which is like 5 or 6 or 12 issues sometimes for one comic book. Those would be for the milestone ones like static. Those probably won't be available till next year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to wait that long and you want to read what's happening month to month, like
Yeah.
you can get them. We have those available. But if you want to get like other books, then you can talk to me and we can work out a subscription plan. And I'm doing that with a couple of customers right now. One guy he gets nothing but Ninja Turtle stuff, so he's getting like all the Ninja Turtle comics. And there's another guy he's getting like the milestone stuff. He's getting like a bunch of stuff. He comes like every 3 or 4 months, and he just drops like
Man,
he's like,
that's
yeah, I'm gonna get this.
so you're saying that you're doing kind of a concierge type subscription. It's not like, whatever you got in the offbeat bundle. You're doing like a concierge type thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can like if you already know what you want, you can be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I want this. And then there's a site. It's called Previews World. I'm gonna drop in the comics, and if you search for Offbeat in the comic locator, you can go to the pool box thing, and that way you can just yeah. Let me make sure I get that. I'm trying to get that link up to you
Okay.
because that way you can like just subscribe. You can like type in the comics that you're looking for and subscribe to exactly what you want, and that way you won't have to be like what's the word I'm looking for? Just like kind of in a rush to like, oh, I want to get this, but I don't see it. But that shows you like stuff that's coming out in the future. And so if you want to start with, say, for instance, if you want to start with like X-Men, number one, you can like type in X-Men number one, and well, let me backtrack. You can't type in X-Men number one. You can type in like just you want to get all the X-Men that's currently out.
Okay.
And then you can start from like if it's at like issue number 5 right now, that you'll get like we'll try to get you 5 if it's not out of print and the distributor has it. And but you from then on you'll get every issue month to month. I'll have it held behind the counter for you. And you can do that with as many books as you want. There's and I put it in the private chat. I couldn't put it in the comments. But you can do that you can do that with any book except for the milestone books because it's a different distributor. So you just have to just let me know, like, hey, I want to get all the milestone books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good collection, like to have those milestones and be able to uplift that and share it. Which leads us into the conversation that we talked about from this past weekend. So, we went to set up at the elementary school. The elementary school is from pre-K to 6. And I had a few posters left from when we did the reading feed at UIG, and saw this little kid behind me. The little boy was behind me, and he was looking. I said, so I gave him a poster. I said, which poster should I give him? So I gave his mom the Black Panther poster, and he looked, and his mom gave it to him, and he looked at this Black Panther poster. He was like Black Panther. His eyes got big, and he grabbed the poster and he hugged the poster. And he was like, his sister was like, oh, let me see. He, of course, he's the youngest. His sister's older. Of course, he didn't share with his sister, but he was just so ecstatic and so happy. Now, mind you, this is a little Hispanic kid, a little Hispanic boy that I gave this Black Panther poster to. They were so excited, and it just this is something different. So what I said was, I want to know and I talked with the teachers and those who do the reading programs. I said, if we want to teach people something, then we got to find something that they're interested in for them to read. Children at that age still are very interested into cartoons and any type of characters from the cartoons or, Marvel stuff like Black Panther and everything like that. I said, I know a gentleman that owns a comic book store. I will get with him and we can see what we can come up here and do the program we did in Jackson, the reading feed. We'll get the hot tamale lady or whoever else come back, and we'll give some free comic books to them. And they are all on board with that. So we just got to get a date and time where we're going back to Durant, Holmes County, to Durant Elementary, to pass out comic books and posters to those pre-K through elementary, pre-K through 6th grade group. They was excited. I mean, he was just excited, and everybody like, do you got any more posters? I had like 4 posters. So my goal was not to pull out the posters and let everybody see them. But of course, if one child gets 1 poster, it's over. Yeah. It's over with. So we have to go back and present that to them. I'm not saying that the children here in Jackson might not appreciate it, but right now we know we got a group of children that are definitely interested in comic books and those posters.
That'd be good outreach. That'd be some great outreach, man. I mean, and I know that that school district is in a particularly difficult situation, so that they need as much support as they can get and outlets, especially with something that could provide a bit of joy to the kids at that school. So yeah, that's a great idea, man. We got to do that.
Yeah, that's dope. That's really dope.
Boom. All right, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Got the instructions there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we talked about Free Comic Book Day. As a dad, we all dads on here. Man, back to school.
Stressful. So stressful.
So stressful. Look, and was today Riley's first day back, or what? Did it start last week?
It started yesterday. Yesterday was his first day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what was the most stressful part? Like, is it lunch packing? Like, what is it?
Oh, just letting them go there. Actually, just letting them go to school is the most stressful part. I mean, numbers are high.
Yeah.
Higher than they ever been. I think I think they said there's 1,000 kids that have COVID now in today's report. So it's that, and today was the first day we let them ride the bus. It's probably the last day because the bus was packed, so it's no social distancing on the bus.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a lot right now. So I'm like, any day now they're gonna like try virtual, but I'm just waiting. I guess they're waiting for the first outbreak, I guess, which is dumb. But this is Mississippi's governor and Mississippi's Department of Education fault on this end. So I mean, it's for trying to support the school districts and whatnot. And I think even like private schools, they're not really like doing. I don't know if they're doing like virtual or not, but I mean, son's born. He finally got in the Bailey APAC and stuff, so we were proud. We were proud and excited for him. But took the bus today. He gets out at like 3:20, and he didn't make it home till like 5:20. The bus didn't leave the school till like 4:20. So and when I picked him up yesterday, it was a nightmare. The line was like crazy, and I got there at like 3:20, and the line was back onto Highway 18, and we didn't. We didn't leave the school till like 4:20. Like I was in line for an hour, trying to get him, and then I figured out what bus he was supposed to ride while we were there, and the buses were there when I still left, and it was 4:20. So I was like, okay, the buses ain't leaving until like 4:00, 4:20. So it's it's a whole thing right now, kind of dealing with.
Yeah, McRae's bus, like when he got on the bus this morning, there was like one other kid on there. So I felt like, now typically he doesn't ride the bus, but like you said, the buses were running late, and he masked up, got on the bus, ready to do his thing, had his lunch bag, all of that. And then coming home, there's not many kids. I live in a county, so I know that there's a lot of kids at school, and they got about like 18, 19 kids in their classroom. But he's like, Dad, we got a new kid today. And I'm like, all right, well, that's 20. So it is a lot of anxiety and worry that goes into sending your kid out to school. But I'm like you. I'm like, well, it's gonna be shut down in a minute. So
that's
I'm just waiting.
The sad thing is why you had to experiment, take the chance of exposing so many children,
right?
And then you just now having folks that saying they could decide to do mask, and then you still got private schools. If you remember that Tater Tot daughter contracted
Tater Tots like that.
Oh, my bad. I
like Tater Tots.
Grand Wizard Jr. Contracted it, and because in their private schools they didn't have to follow those guidelines, so they weren't masking, right? So for me, with my daughter being in Texas, so she's back in Texas now. She starts school next week. You're talking about going into a sophomore at 15. How much does teenagers listen to you when you're looking at them?
Right.
So it's a stress and a worry for me, because for one, it's her age, but secondly, I'm not physically there. So you're gonna get everything second or third hand. When something happens. And Texas governor and our they cut from the same pile, right? So they coming out of the same pile. So it's a big difference in how they're going to react. I seen that they are going to enforce the mask mandate. I saw that they are going to enforce that at the schools in her area, but they still want, was the Florida governor talking about holding folks pay if they enforce the mask mandate? Florida governor said he was going to withhold pay for those who enforce a mandatory mask mandate, because in their mind, now you got to understand about the great colonizers, control is everything, is so you telling that if you don't do what I want you to do, even though it might be trying to save somebody's life, because I don't want you to do it, I'm gonna punish you. And that's the same thing where we are right now with our folks, man. You know, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, they had about 20 children on ventilators. And what people don't understand what a ventilator is, right? You know, ventilators, you know, is pretty much you're breathing. So it's like life support.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
machine assisted breathing.
so they say it in a nice manner, but this is before school started. You had that many children.
Yep.
And you just didn't think that we need to put some more precautionary measures in place? Because how much do children listen when you looking at them and you tell them that you're gonna send them away and they're gonna do exactly what you say do? Yeah, it's a scary. You know, I got nephew, nieces. I mean, it's a very scary thing right now in the country as a whole, but especially in the southern states and how they're gonna play this out. So, but what we're doing right now is all we can do, to the point where we keep beating the drum, organizing, you know, create a bigger voice and physically handle the things we can. You know, we might not be able to fix everything, but we can bring a little joy to this group of students or this community over here.
That's right.
But I'm going to beat another drum. I want to see how many people are going to get on board to figure out what it's going to take for you to either accept the $600 million from the CARES Act, or expand affordable health care and get the $14 billion. If we at max capacity now for hospitals, and we got hospitals that were shut down, but you have a reserve money. Now, this is somebody that said they're a numbers person. You got reserve funds sitting right here, but you won't tap the reserve funds and open up the other hospitals and pay staff.
I don't know what kind of numbers guy that dude is.
Like, that's that common core numbers. 2 plus 2 equals 7. That's common core shit that they own. You know, that's that crack algebra. That's crack mouth. You know, I don't know what you're doing, but so man, we want to get on a lighter note, back to what we were saying about the comic books and the youth. We want to keep this going, and like I told Venom before, Chuck, I want him to own Read and Feed, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is something that he can keep rolling, even when Mississippi Move might be doing something different. He has the setup to do that. He needs to own it. We need to figure out a way to get resources so we can use comic books as a means to assist and teach youth how to read, or assist them with their reading.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
I think it's
definitely a literacy aid, man. So look, if parents, if you're out there, or you know somebody, or you know a young person that is struggling with reading, and you need some really cool stuff for them to read, or something that's going to pique their interest, I think Free Comic Book Day is definitely a great opportunity to try to encourage a young person to get into reading and to develop a love for reading. And you can do that if you're in the Jackson, Mississippi area, or if you want to travel in from the Delta, travel up from the coast. You can definitely do that at Offbeat. And we got the details for that right here. Go ahead, Venom.
Yeah, and this won't be the only opportunity. So normally Free Comic Book Day is in May, but pandemic is pushed to August. So I need to check and see. But there's also Halloween Comic Fest, and that's also kind of like Free Comic Book Day, but instead of us like giving away candy, we give away comic books. So that should be in October near the end, but we'll see. I'll have details on that. Hopefully by the end of the month. I think we're just trying to get through a Free Comic Book Day first, and then normally I'll start placing orders. So I just need to check my catalog and see. But there's something else to look forward to. And then even with that, if you wanted to participate that in your own way, like if you want to give away some of these comic books, you can like reach out to me, and there's bundles that I can sell to you at a discounted rate.
Okay.
So I think they're like 25 comics in one, and you end up paying like $10 or something like that. So I mean, it's worth it. So there's plenty of candy out there. So, and you can still give away candy, but I mean, giving away comic books is kind of like that extra thing, and they won't expect it. I know I would have been charged up if I had got a comic and I already had this pillow sack full of candy.
Yeah,
that'd made my night.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I think we can we definitely should like commit to to doing that. Like, hey, look, let's get all of the guys that we know buy a bundle from Offbeat, and then like we said, let's just start with 7. We're gonna start with 7. We get 7 guys to do it, and then we get another 7 guys to do it. Just keep it going.
Keep going. And then they started hitting some of these, while they're more impressionable, hit some of these elementary schools, man, and start passing out comic books and posters, man. I'm telling you, it's make their day, And that's a good alternative. If you're looking for something entertaining, and especially for your child, instead of giving them some type of electronic, give them a comic book, and challenge them to read it, and that's one of the things I think is lacking a lot is imagination. Like comic book allow you to use your imagination versus electronic if you actually playing a game or something, but the comic book you can just imagine seeing different things. You add your own different endings and stuff to it. I think it's really good and good for creativity also. So we appreciate you, brother, for coming through. And I'll let you know once we touch bases and pick a good date, and we can get back up there to Holmes County and spread some joy by giving out some comic books and some posters. And we're going to pass this word out, let people know about it. Hopefully a lot of folks will come by Saturday, and not a lot of folks at one time, with the restrictions in place, will come periodic throughout the day. You get a lot of good support. We'll make sure we're going to share with our network and let a lot of people know.
Thank you for having me on. And one last thing, I won't be able to make it to the Mississippi Black Business Expo this year because I will be moderating a panel at the Mississippi Book Festival, and it's on Afrofuturism. So I'll be there.
You mentioned that. I was looking forward to that too. Yeah, that's dope.
So, I mean, I'll see if they record it. But this will be my first time moderating, so I'll let y'all know how it goes.
Man, you got it. We're looking forward to great things, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Venom. That's all day, 12 to 7 this Saturday. Free Comic Book Day, celebrating 20 years of free comics right there, Offbeat in Jackson, Mississippi. Shout out to DJ Young Venom and everybody that already knows about Offbeat. If you don't know about Offbeat, you got to get over there. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Really, really cool spot, and I can't wait to get the boys up there for their first trip to Offbeat. So that's this Saturday, 12 to 7. Y'all get over there, get your free comic book, get your comic book whistle wet. Yeah. We'll see you, Venom. Peace. All right, Mac, we got who we got coming up next, man?
We have the world famous always what they say, this brother right here is like a superhero. You just think about him. If you need something, he's right around the corner. He wears many hats, wears many names. The simple title for him is just called Coach, whether it be a life coach, basketball coach, coach on spirituality. He is the coach of all coaches, Coach Abasi.
Yeah, Coach, what's happening? Yeah,
I'm here, man. I'm here and excited about the show tonight. I was wanting to make sure I show off my T-shirt because
let me see that T-shirt.
Yes, I'm gonna show it off a little bit.
Oh, I see you.
All right.
Black G, baby. It's a Black G.
The Black G.
Yes. Yeah. So that it can be interpreted different ways. It could be Black God. It could be Black Genius.
Yeah.
A Black Giver.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the Black guy.
Or the Black guy.
Whatever.
But I really understand. I really wanted to try to compete against Mac tonight because that Mississippi Move, that shirt he got on. My wife, she wears it, man, and she makes me look bad, man. She goes in there, she talking about she gassing up. I'm gassing up. So I got a shirt for my wife and for me, but now she wears it all the time, man.
Yeah.
She loves it. She loves it. She loves it.
All of us collectively are trying to move Mississippi forward. All brakes. I mean, all gas, no brakes, but it seems like sometimes Mississippi is all brakes and no gas. So we got to keep doing what we got to do to move this thing forward, man. So we invited Coach on the show tonight. We talked about a couple things. We talked about trauma. We talked about addiction, and we talked about culture. And we're talking about the Black culture. You see a lot of people now talking about doing it for the culture, different things like that. But those topics are directly related to a current situation that's going on with Coach personally and family. And it's a real reason that we needed him on the show tonight. We're trying to ring the bell and sound the alarm and get some support and resources out to assist someone that's close to him. So, Coach, expound and tell everybody what's going on.
Well, basically, family, I just wanted to come on tonight to touch on those three topics: trauma, addiction, and culture, and define it in the context where all of us can really understand it. I am personally dealing with some trauma and some grief.
Okay,
Like
who
a daughter to
froze?
me,
Okay.
And she's not with us anymore, and so as it is a sad occasion, but it's a good occasion as well, because it's bringing about awareness about how we can move forward and see things in a different light, so that people can understand that we have to deal with those things. We got to deal with addiction, bro. We got to deal with it. We got to have those conversations, those uncomfortable conversations that will cause us to stay stuck or change. So 24-year-old young lady, 4 children. She had a real tough life, but she was a tough person, right? And through the process of this COVID, it just got overwhelming for her, man. And she was, one minute she's doing good, got an apartment, doing good. I got a job, and she's doing well, and children doing well, and got a lot of support. And next minute, here we go, that depression. Here we go, those recurring memories. And then you get silent, So trauma can make you become silent, and you can become complacent, and you want to be distant from everybody, And so we have to bring awareness about that. We have to find out, who can a person talk to? If they don't want to talk to me, who can they talk to? And I just want to ask both of you gentlemen, when you're dealing with a situation where the person don't want to express themselves, and then they give you those cues, are we really looking for those cues now? It's just everybody's looking at it saying, okay, it's COVID. It's just be a normal reaction. Are we really looking at those cues that saying that silence, crying out, that something is wrong and I don't know how to fix it? And so that's what I wanted to talk about on tonight. How can we identify addictive behaviors with people who say they are clean? How can we identify certain behaviors when people say, okay, we're doing well now. We got a job, we got clothes, we looking nice on the outside, and then you wind up hearing that your 24-year-old niece dies of inhaling a toxin, and then after she dies, she leaves behind 4 children, chaos, and when you find these things out, how do you deal with it as a community?
Yeah.
And that's what that's the whole thing about it. I understand, Lee Vance is gone, and they just say it may be some COVID related reasons, but then what about our common everyday person who leaves? They don't have all of the celebrity that other individuals have. Do we actually go back and do an in-depth study of those common everyday people that are dealing with situations, trauma, addiction, and not understanding what culture is? Because that's where we are having a lack of understanding of how we need to look at it. Because when I examine culture, I examine having a person having or no, not culture, but trauma. A person having a deep, distressing, or disturbing experience that gets into their mind and causes their behavior to act a certain way, right? Then when you talk about addiction, you got to talk about addictive behavior. So addictive behavior is based on culture as well, because if my culture says, all right for me to smoke a blunt, my culture says it's all right for me to get drunk all the time, my culture says it's all right for me to take some purple hash and get my cigarillo and lace it, and that's acceptable, then how is it that that's acceptable in the private culture, but in generally is not? And so we have a lot of mixed messages in our community, Doc.
Yeah.
And I think we need to really go back and start understanding the difference between how culture is practiced and how it's viewed. And so that's what I wanted to ask both of y'all, because like I said, both of y'all community activists, you're in the community, seeing different things. And then when you see this tragedy happen, how do we take and not just get a life lesson from the tragedy, but how do we go back and impact those who are left behind, like 4 children?
Yeah, what's the support system, or what's the net that is put in place to support the people that these folks leave behind? Yeah.
And go ahead, man.
No. First of all, I would say condolences to your family, and
Thank you.
especially for those children. And I got this message. I live this message, but I heard this message from at Chuck's father's homegoing, and one of the gentlemen spoke and said, I think it might have been one of his deacons, might have been his cousin. They said when his house burned down, Chuck dad didn't just say he was going to pray for him. He showed up the next day with his truck to help him.
Yeah.
Right. So as we say our condolences to your family, we ask, okay, what is needed? And I know we talk about in general, but like to assist with this situation, what is needed? Now, right now, for the family, either for the children or for the help with her services, what is needed?
Well, what we did, and I don't want this to be a Band-Aid, man.
Right.
We have to do everything in stages, right? And the first stage is being able to take this young lady who did not have insurance and be able to properly have her have a homegoing celebration where we can make it real nice, so her children can have a memory imprinted in their mind. They can say, well, this is mom, and this is something that's really big. Because think about this here. And I'm rewinding a little bit because I want to give y'all some of the story. Imagine a child losing a father.
Coach Joe, you froze up, bro.
Grow up without understanding the culture of that parent, of both of those parents gone. So it's going to take a community to come in and make sure that they make up for that. So this what we need now is we're coming to the family members for all different mindsets, right? We got family members all over the place, up north, out west, and all of them are trying to pitch in to help, but they are asking all these questions, right? So right here now, we need people to understand what can we do for these four children, and we just want to make sure that we properly do everything that's going to be best for her. Now we're going to do a viewing on this coming Thursday, and that's going to be just for private viewing for the immediate family. Then next week we're going to have a memorial service for her, and that memorial service we estimated to be about 2,500, and we're just asking people to send a cash app to me, and I could be able to make sure we just have that cost not be a burden to all the family members, So that's what we're doing right now. And then any money that we raise afterwards will be for the benefit of the children. So my cash app is $Andrew AC, all lowercase.
Can you send it to Chuck in the private message, and that way he can put it out?
Okay. Basically, once we do that, then we're looking at what is it we could do for us, making sure that the children are taken care of properly. I've already got a couple of policies on 3 of the children, but that last one, we want to put a policy on her as well. And we have to just take up and come as a community to make it happen, man, and that's just the bottom line. So I was thinking about Chuck and Mac. When we look and we define the whole issue, when we look at what's going on in our community, I think we're not addressing this COVID situation in terms of the behavior changes that's happening, the issues that's involved, the behavior changes of being social isolated, also losing a job, also changing different jobs. The behavior changes is something that we have to understand, that when the behavior change is not met with, it tends to cause us to have physical health problems, Because when a person, have y'all ever known someone who was just a hothead or a person who was short tempered? That's besides Matt, okay? Chuck.
Chuck.
Okay, so a person who's a hothead or short tempered, they don't got time for foolishness. They like to get to the point and make things happen right away. That could be interpreted as being aggressive. Now, a lot of times, the teachers in classrooms don't want to deal with that. So that child get medicated, that child get labeled, and now you have a situation where that child withdraws. My niece was like that, man. She was so misunderstood, man. People just think she would snap at them for certain different reasons, but they didn't realize all the levels of trauma that was undealt that she didn't deal with. It caused her to have a reaction like that. And then what happens is that you get to the point where you have these interpersonal issues that you just don't take care of. And so we got to understand these unresolved traumas causes people to make bad decisions and choices. And we can't look at the situation and say, okay, well, the person made a bad decision, the choice now, they should have been in church more. They should have did this. Now let's move forth and prevent this from her children.
Right.
What things can we put in place so when her 4 children are growing up, they can have a productive life?
Yeah. Well, brother, look, we definitely we agree with you, and we also, we want to we gonna put our money where our mouth is, of course. But you're making like great points. And the question that you just asked at the end, I mean, you're thinking about the kids and what they're going to have to process in terms of the trauma from this situation. Being a person, not having lost my mother tragically, but there's trauma when you lose anybody. So I lost my mom at 17.
Okay.
So you have to make a daily decision to keep moving. Not only if you can't make it for yourself, you definitely want to at least take the first step to say, I want to honor the memory of my mother or my loved one, and honor them by keeping going. And then if for me, if you make that first step, which is what I did, and I said, well, look, my mama wanted me to go to Tougaloo. I'm gonna go to Tougaloo.
Okay.
And then Tougaloo was that thing that kept me going, right? Because I'm really great people there. And I had some older folks there, staff members, alums that I gravitated towards, and then this family started to wrap around me.
Gotcha.
And I can see that's what you're doing or planning to do with your younger nieces and nephews, your great nieces and nephews. But what do people do when they need to process that trauma? They don't know how to do it, or they don't even know how to keep going. And folks need to know what resources out there, Mac. And I know you've got a list of those. So we want to make sure that we start to share that information more often than we do. We do our motivational, our mental health minute and all that, but sometimes people just need to see that stuff. And I know you do a great job with that. So let's make sure we get that out there.
So 2 things we want to continue, me and Coach Boss talked about from the Freedom Summer Project, was to continue the reading feed, which was using the comic books, and Therapeutic Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
Therapeutic Thursday was creating a safe space and where people can come and have open discussions and dialogue with professional support. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just be able to talk about some of the things that folks are dealing with. There's so much stigma, right?
Yes.
I always talk about normalized chaos. It's so normal for certain things to happen that we don't even get upset. We don't even know what number we are on for as murders in the city of Jackson. We at the point now where we hear gunshots and we just thought somebody shooting, or someone died. So we have begun to process and normalize chaos as a means of coping with something that's traumatic. Because if we focus on it too much, then it's gonna throw everything off. So you just kind of normalize it. This is something that happens.
Yeah.
We almost at 100 folks that been murdered in the city of Jackson. Not to talk about people that have died in car accidents, died from medical reasons. Violent crimes. So we ain't talking. We don't even have a statistical numbers of folks that died from overdose, that died from a part of their trauma. We don't even know those type of numbers. So we have normalized so many things that we are losing young folks, especially, that we normalized it. You know, we're not thinking about it that this is a traumatic situation, not just for that individual's family, but as a community. This is something that we need to talk about. It's like we got to get out of our own self way to the point of looking at what's bigger than us. And as we talk about the next generation, like what I don't want to happen with these 4 children is for someone to be in their ear, constantly reminding them about their mama and their mama's mistake of what they did. And don't be like her. And she did this, and pointing out all of the negative things about their mother. You know, pick out the positive. Now, the thing about that is sometimes we focus more on the negative than the positive. And they might not know enough positive about her to express to the children. If you don't, then just be quiet. But if you do, we need as many people as possible to express to them what she was good at, what's positive, and what she would want for them, and push them to do that.
We got one of our friends that's looking to donate. Is that correct?
Me. That's right. Yep.
All right.
And Larry is a mentor and a coach too. Larry is a mentor, coach, and he's been a basketball coach probably for about 14 years or more. He does what you do, you know, with youth, and he knows it. You see it that some of these children are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they need somebody to listen to them. But don't they grow up into being adults that's still dealing with that same trauma?
Well, I wanted to point out a point of when you're talking about the miseducation of all of our children. You know, I would say when Carter G. Wilson came with the book Miseducation of the Negro, I say the miseducation of the Black race. What happens sometimes, we get so caught up into the culture of the people who oppressed us, then we don't understand our true value of our culture. So when we define culture, you're talking about the arts, you're talking about the customs and the habits that characterize a people in the society or group. Now, that's culture, but majority of our children and our adults don't understand what the word means or ethos means, right? So that ethos is missing. And when you don't understand that, it simple means what characterize the fundamental values of a people, a person, a culture, or a movement, the fundamental values. So these fundamental values have been missing because now you've labeled a child when a child was acting a certain way. A child is ADHD, and you get the ADHD label, right? Or a child is bad. So they have these labels, and then they grow up as an adult with that same label because now they have adjusted, and actually not adjusted, they are maladjusted to the culture in which environment they live in, right?
Yeah.
So, and when they get in the environment, it's very difficult for them to try to be themselves because they have to keep up. And a lot of our young people do that, man, and then they become adults and they get in that rat race and they going and going and going, and they never stop to understand what happened in the past that made them have a certain mindset. So when you don't understand what that mindset is, man, it just takes you in all different ways. And like you said, Mac, we got to make sure these young 4 children don't jump up and have the mindset of all those people that's going to come at them, And if they don't have a surrounding community that provides a safe haven for them, that's what's going to happen. And so, Chuck, you was talking about going to Tougaloo, right?
Yeah.
When you was in Tougaloo, in social work, we have something called person and environment PI. You was in an environment that was sheltered, that protected you.
Yeah.
It challenged you as well, right?
Most definitely.
But imagine if you lost your connection and you never had no one to really get past that baton to you and help you to understand there was something bigger out there besides what you had experienced and what you had prevailed to see when you was at that young age, right?
Right.
And I always tell people there's 3 things that change people's lives: It's the people you meet, the places you go, and the books you read. So going to Tougaloo, it changed your whole cultural ethos. It changed your whole cultural mindset, and you saw something bigger than yourself. Now that's what we have to do. So, getting back to this mental health minute, and also the things we're doing with the comic books, we have to make this almost a staple in our community.
Yeah.
If we do not do that,
yeah,
if we don't make it a staple, then it's not going to be sustainable. And then we're going to look up 5 years from now, guys, and we're going to see these young people become teenagers, and the cycle's going to go on and on. But we can stop that right now by putting something in place,
right,
to where we tracking these young people and making sure that they have positive outcomes by all of us, and gathering them and making them part of our community.
We learn and follow those who are, I would say, mostly 5 years to 10 years ahead of us.
Okay.
Like that's who we look towards, right? So you look towards them for mimicking and guidance. They kind of set the factor for you. After you get a certain age, like think about it. When you were 17 or 18, you didn't really want to hang out with 17, 18-year-olds.
No.
You wanted to hang out with those about 22, 23. You were trying to gravitate to get to more where they were, because they had more to offer and show you and different things than folks where you were, depending on where you were as a teen, right? For us, most of the folks that I was around, we were trying to hang out with folks that was older than us. We weren't hanging out with folks that were our age, unless they were definitely on the same type of level. So you were setting the tone for the children, like those children, the oldest one. Start with the oldest one, because the oldest one is going to help set the tone for the rest. Right. And be building that oldest one up and give them that mentorship and guidance, so they can start to mimic what they see, because they're not going to see us all the time, but that older sibling is who they're going to see, and that older sibling habits and what they do in the house and when the parents are not around, that's what the children mimic. Who you learn how to curse from. The older sibling or older cousin. You learn from them, and when they're around, that's what you mimic, right? You mimic the person. So that's what you got to do, is pour resources in and build them up. But that's something you got to do culturally,
right?
And not just so that I want to do something different, like we talked about with just children. I want to keep doing like we did for the summer.
Okay.
A youth and adult mentorship.
Right.
Because Chuck and I both have other men that we mentor. And not term that we say mentor, but they call us for guidance. They hang out, we're the old head, or whatever we may be, but they do that. And they need it too, because they realize something that they don't have other source.
Yeah.
And a lot of, and some of them are fathers now, right? They are going into relationships, so they are asking and they're seeking knowledge. And that's where you start with those who are asking and seeking, and use them. But we have to be band together. So when I don't know, I said, well, I don't know, man. Let me call Coach. I said, I got a guy named Coach. You might not know Coach, but Coach is a good resource. He ain't gonna put your business in the street. Talk to Coach. Coach can help you with this, brother. When I can connect them with Coach, now the trust factor transfers, and now you got more than one person that's supporting you and care. Now you got two, and now it's gonna really keep you. I said, this man don't even know me, but he want to help. That's one thing that I know from working with youth and people. Period. We had a negative interaction with that, where somebody was so traumatized to the point where you couldn't even be positive to them, because they didn't know how to receive it.
They don't know how to receive it. They can't.
It caught them off guard. They had no idea and no capacity to say, I can receive positive energy.
Yeah.
They were ready for the negative, but when you came up with some positive, they just looked at you and didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, they have defense mechanisms up because they've been traumatized so much and let down. And a lot of times, even when I was in the ministry, they will always say that, it's a difference between Moses and the Joshua generation, right? And they would never make a comparative analysis and say that, look at the similarities of the Moses and the Joshua generation. Look at the fact that when, like, I would tell an older preacher, I was like, man, keep it real. Now you talk about you done caught the parent and caught the boy in the room masturbating, right? And now they trying to take him before the church so he can pray and lay hands on him. And I would say to the preacher, man, you used to masturbate too, dude. But you need to have that conversation with that child. Have that conversation with them. Don't bring him out there and put his business in front of everybody.
Kid, yeah.
Then they had this stigma about church. They don't want to ever, once they get 17, 18, they ain't coming back. Because that they have actually got re-traumatized by every time they do something that does not look it not applies to what the values of the religion or the group looks at, right? And so they took and put them down so much that they go out and they just find other people in the streets that's going to feel them, make them have a sense of belonging, make them feel like I can trust them. Right. And even if it's something negative, they'll get involved with it and look up, Mac. They be caught up so much, they'll feel like this is dedicated ignorance and they love it. But at the same time, it's destructive to them. And so, like you're saying, Mac and Chuck, we got to change. We got to have a strategy so that these four won't have to go through that madness.
I think we already started. We have a concerned family member that understands the process, that has access to them. And the thing is, those who, and we don't know maybe yet who the children will stay with, but continue to be able to have an influence in their lives so you can be able to provide resources to them. A lot of us do a lot of organizing work and supporting the community, but you can really see your impact when you can centralize it. Right. If you know you're working with this certain group of people from beginning to end, you can really see how effective you've been. So, say for instance, we adopt during elementary, we might adopt another school, but you're working with those children, and you just think about in 20 years, those children that are in pre-K, where would they be in life 20 years from now? You know what I'm saying? And you continue to have a track where you follow them. You can be able to, till they get to the point where they get old enough where you have their contact information and you be able to assist them. Same way with these children. Right. Is to say, hey, we're going to help these children. Then let's say, let's help these children. Right. Let's not say we're going to show up and we're going to do this for them now. Let's continue the process and help them throughout, because they are going to have a lot of traumatic experiences from somebody that works with children and adolescents in a facility. They're going to have someone make comments and say something about their mom. There's going to be a trigger. They're going to look out there and have a performance, and they're going to look out there and not have their mama or their daddy show up for them. Right. They're gonna watch other children have their parents show up, and they're gonna look around, they don't have anybody. Right. So they're gonna have a lot of triggers that's gonna make them feel, and then like, you know what, this is stupid. I've seen it 1,000 times. Man, this is stupid. I don't want to do this.
Gotta get them prepared for it.
Right.
For it.
You have to help them. We have to help them. We have to support them. And there are a lot of groups of children out there where we have a personal contact with someone reached out to us about these children, this set of children, and let's work with them.
You know what an older person told me, because I raised my children, my 3 children, and they told me, they said, well, Coach, you did such a good job of raising your children, even though they still some bad asses as adults now. Don't think that. But the main thing that I helped this older person helped me to see is that, and they showed me a reflection of myself. They said, Coach, you was able to work on a lot of issues in your personal life to where you was able to have the strength to raise your family and develop your family life, which gave you an opportunity to have business and economics in your life straight. So you can be able to have the time, the energy, and the resource capacity to go in the community and become a community activist. But you could not become a community activist until you effectively went through that stage. And now that you're an advocate for all those others, you got to duplicate that process. I did not know that I'll be doing the same thing with these 4 children who are my kin folks. I'll be doing this, showing them that same model. Yeah. Take care of your personal life, take care of your family life, make sure you got your business and economics together, make sure you working in the community, and then you become an advocate. I didn't know it. And so now I'm excited because I know I don't have to do this all by myself. Yeah. I know if I got to go. Actually, Chuck, I'm gonna be in the coast this weekend, right?
Okay.
I know I can. If I need to go on the coast, and if I need a nice restaurant, or need a nice hotel to go to, I can call you up, Chuck. Hey, Coach, I got you, man. You know, we can make sure that we got these resources.
Yeah,
and we building our relationships besides just doing advocacy work.
right.
And that's what I love about Mac, because Mac, him and his daughter, they're like twins. Y'all already know that. Everybody knows it, right? But I love the relationship that they have, because the key word of relationship means you got to relate on something that you have similar together with.
Yeah.
If you don't got nothing similar together with, you cannot relate with your child. You don't have to be your child's friend, but you got to have something in common that you relate to. And so that's what I think is going to be the key thing to make sure that these children continue to relate, not just to me, but the broader community in a safe, in an environment that's a safe haven.
Right. You know, a lot of people gravitate to those who help them in that time of need. You know, so when they see that, you know, community come together to help folks that don't know, it might be something that awaken them to say, you know what, this is what I want to do. You know, I want to, you know, and children watch, because my daughter, before she left, she said she wanted to be a mental health counselor and a bartender. This is what she said she wanted to do. She's right. This is what she want to do for a living. You know,
really?
That's what she want to do. I was like, yeah.
Mental health counselor, the bar. That's too extreme. But that's
but you know, they both do the same
thing. Necessarily.
They both do the same thing. Yeah.
They both do the same thing. You know, we had an event.
What is that? What is it? What is it? They both do.
You listen to folks' problems. You talk to people. You help them. You know, everybody talks to the bartender. Everybody talks to the bartender. And then we actually had an event that we used to do called social therapy. And where we had, you know, we had a different vibe going, and everybody talks to the bartender. And you watch 1,000 movies, you see that everybody talks to the bartender. They just walk up and start telling you something. You like, I could have did it all my life without knowing that, but thank you for telling me. You know, and my wife and I talk about that too. Is like, some people see it on you, right, Coach? That
they see it on you.
People just walk up there and you start telling you their stuff, and you just be looking like, but you understand. But now your next move is gonna make or break them.
Yeah. There's it. The best of both worlds.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. If we just could build while I pour them drinks. If you just could just build at the same time while we pour them drinks.
That's it, man.
The thing is, you know, we got to keep that real village mentality. We got to keep a real, true village and circle. You know, we try to check on each other. We check on each other's family, friends. You know, if something happens, we try to look, you know, we say, hey, man, it happened to me. I'm going to tell you what happened to me.
Right.
So you can make sure it don't happen to you and yours, you know, and vice versa. You know, when we travel, we have to create that village to be checking on each other, because one of the things that happen now is folks are so caught up into so much other stuff. We don't check on people. We're not seeing if they are okay. They are telling you they're okay because they're not looking at you, or they're not talking to you. They can't hear the emotion in your voice, or the lack of emotion in your voice. So we got to do better about checking on each other and seeing if they are really okay and what's going on in their lives. You know, some people are really be bad off, and they'll make you feel like they're okay. But children are the same. So you have to help them and have to work with them, and we have to create that model for them. So you got the Cash App. So what can Chuck? You think we can put together a flyer with the Cash App on it, like a quick graphic?
Yeah, just get the details, and then we'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll push that for you, Coach. So send us some information. You know, maybe, you know, the sister's name and what happened, and that she's leaving around 4 children. Pretty much what you said tonight. What we're trying to do is raise some funds.
Another thing we're doing too, I want to make this announcement on Saturday. This Saturday at what time? 11 o'clock. We're gonna be over at one of my properties. It's in Georgetown. It said that the location is 852 Crawford Street. I got some property over there. We're gonna have a big old cookout, and people just come by and buy plates. But you can't stay long because it's COVID. So come in, get your plate, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
So if they want to do that, you know, come out, support us right over on Crawford Street. I'll give it you back. We do a flyer for it. we're gonna and then also my partner Ajax Black or either TaylorMade Entertainment, they're gonna be doing interviews with those people that knew my niece in the community, so they can give us some commemorations and they can just say their salutations to her, because it's important that we remember a person's life, deeds, and legacy. And if you don't remember those and celebrate them, then the person won't know the effectiveness they had doing their earth walk while they was here. So we're gonna do that on this Saturday. So y'all come out and support, man, in the Georgetown area, and just make it happen, man. You know.
I know for us, and Chuck can speak to this in the fraternity, when we lose a brother, and the family might not be as aware of the fraternity life, but when they see the numbers and when you do the services, it does something to the family to just feel like for that many people to have cared about their loved one, and it gives them a certain ease and just like they had no idea. And hearing kind words about their mother, repeated, something they maybe what they might have seen, something different than what they have seen, something different what other folks were told them, but hearing kind words about their mother would be one of those things that help prevent a lot of those traumatic experiences from reoccurring, because they can reflect back on that. They can draw from the strength of her positivity, the things that they can draw from that strength. So I know we're way over our time, Coach. We're going to put this information together, and we're going to get this fire out, and we're going to try to continue to do what we can to support the community.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you again for being with us, and we'll get those graphics up. We'll get them shared once we get everything finalized. All of our folks over there on Black with No Chase, all our folks on Twitch, shout out to our homie Larry Leggett for tuning in with us. We'll see y'all next week for episode 50 of Nightcap Knowledge. We done made it to 50 episodes, y'all. 50 episodes, keeping it real, keeping it all the way raw, and making sure that we keep it connected to our community. So we'll see y'all next week for episode 50. Get in the comments, share this with somebody, and man, be a blessing to somebody right here, right now. We'll see y'all. Peace.
Got to get to where the money resides, Chuck.
Okay, well, we always trying to get to where the money resides. I just ain't.
We need some money right now. That's why we talking about it.
We going.
Wait.
What a money reside. What a money reside.
We need the money. We need the money.
What a money reside. 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 What a money reside.
Maybe we can get Larry on for the big 50, Chuck.
That's right.
Oh, that'd be dope. Hey, Larry Leggett, you gonna get on for the 50th episode? The 50th episode.
What a money reside. 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 What a money. What a money. What a money. What a money.